Welcome to IS Graduate School and Seminary. Operated directly by the General Conference, offers master's and doctoral programs, theology, business, and education, a master's of public health. Join the students on this beautiful tropical campus right in the Philippines.
Hello, morning. Congratulations to Spicer Adventist University for hosting this educational conference 2016, and I'm indeed proud to be part of this conference. And I would like to greet you all, and I bring greetings from Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies here in Philippines. Well, my topic for today is about empowering tertiary students through technology, social media as a learning tool. The research conducted by Pew Research Center clearly shows for the research conducted from 2005 to 2013, the particular age group, if you can look at the screen very clearly, the particular age group of 18 to 29 have access to social networking sites of 90%. Now, 90% is a huge number, and 18 to 29 years of age is where we are targeting the tertiary students. Most of them, not all of them. This brings my attention to look into some of the areas of interest. Now, I saw social media is a buzzword among the digital generation. Now, not only just a buzzword because everybody talks about social media, but the research proves that there is a tremendous increase in the users. If you see the statistics company results, it says 302 million users for Twitter. Facebook, it is more than 210 million users. Now, looking at this beautiful mine, I would call it as mine, we should tap this opportunity. And the research has said, yes, people are already tapping this opportunity, and it has become a buzzword even in the educational grounds. And it is used as a major tool too. Now, this paper explains about the experience of a particular graduate class where they use social media as a learning tool. Now, to look into the literature, the first thing is the paradigm shift. Paradigm shift, the complete change of how we view learning today. It has made a complete U-turn of more focusing into the book and the classroom situation. It has gone into the world of internet and interactive technology. Why? There is a great interest among the students about learning more interactively. Not just learning interactively, but interactively learning with the intellectual partners. And this increases the skills of the closest friends in the classroom. Well, it also provides new opportunities, and it increases the potential, and also it provides you more pedagogical strategies. It is the greatest interactive technology what you can find in this digital generation. Now, for you to understand this particular area of study, the theoretical support comes from two areas. One is the social constructivism, when Vygotsky talks about learning through social interaction. And also, I would like to introduce to you the concept of heterogogy. Well, for social constructivism, you could see the focuses on relations in actions and situation through meaningful negotiation. And also, learning is constructing rather than just acquiring. So, social media could be one of the best places in constructing the learning process. And also, research says that this Facebook network is increasingly being used not only by students but also by the college faculty. Getting into the pedagogy, what is pedagogy? The study of self-determined learning. Now, this concept of pedagogy has received considerable interest, though it was introduced in the year 2000. Later on, it started vanishing, but it has picked up in this decade. Well, what is pedagogy? It is a progressive form of pedagogy to andragogy and to pedagogy. Pedagogy, as you all know, the teaching, what the teaching way or how we get interacted with the students of a young age. Then andragogy is with the adult learners, and pedagogy is an extension for the adult learners who indeed like less teacher control and course structure. They would like to learn on their own, and that's pedagogy, self-determined learning. So what is the research gap? When I looked into these theoretical concepts on learning, there is a fine gap between social constructivism and also pedagogy. I would like you to see a literature gap on the theory of social constructivism and the pedagogy. The empowering student learning from social connectedness to self-determinism is found missing in the theory. And also, a possibility of the social constructivism to empower pedagogical learning is also not considered well in the available research literature. Well, based on this, and look at the screen now, you may see some of the research questions what I made. Number one, what was the use of social media or social networking site SNS in the graduate class contributed to the learning over the content taught within the classroom? And what are the factors contributed to learning through social constructivism over the SNS in the graduate course? And what are the factors that contributed to self-learning using SNS in the graduate course? Now, for the methodology, is a qualitative research design, is a case study, and the purposive sampling was used. The reason being the target population, and the sample is the whole graduate school class where the social media was introduced, and it investigated only the specific factors, especially in relation with social construction as well as pedagogy. Now, the research setting was in an international higher education institution of a particular graduate class where the social media was introduced. The data collection was done using interviews, focus group study, and for the triangulation, even the online observation, that is the student behavior online into this particular class. Now, the data analysis was done by transcribing the data, memoing and categorizing and developing the themes and trends. This is using the coding, especially in vivo coding method. Well, surprisingly, you may see some of the findings are very interesting because are clarity over content. Now, what do you mean by clarity over content? Some of the content which has been taught in the classroom and it is not quite clear in the classroom, and due to the limitation of the time in the classroom as well as the busyness of the professor, they were able to interact with the fellow students or fellow classmates and also with the teacher through online, an additional contribution for learning. The second theme which evolved out of this question is it always contributes additionally. Well, to my second question, these are the themes that has developed: connectivity on topics, attends to concerns of students' personality, collaborative learning, better relationship among students, and sharing. Let me be a little bit more brief on some of the points which needs to be touched. Attends to concerns of student personality. Some of the students are very introvert in the classes and they do not want to express or need to clarify what they have as doubts. So such a social media could be a platform which makes everyone equal on the side of the teacher as well as for the student to share and inquire about what they need to clarify for themselves. The third question, and the data gave me these results: motivation for self-inquiry, and as you see, preparation to share useful tips, better understanding of a topic, creative opportunity to learn more, offering assistance to others, to be self-dependent. Now, all these things are based on how it could empower a student to learn by himself or herself. one of a sample what you can see on the screen right now. But you can see the post, it says what: dear classmates, I hope that this introduction to the particular topic was helpful to all of us, and have a blessed week. Wow. It is not just about class, it's about fellowship. It's just about the coming togetherness and learning more on it. Some of the emerging trends: teacher guidelines and mediation. Now, though pedagogical learning is a self-learning, the higher education students should be given feedback on their learning over the SNS. Okay, now coming to the second point, is self-discipline. The higher education student need to train their habit of learning by themselves. It is very important. The next trend is about in-depth learning and clarification. I think some of my previous colleagues would agree with me, if you are listening to me there, that we are very much doing surface learning. To do a kind of in-depth learning that will help us grow scholarly. Well, contribution to the theory, you could see pedagogical learning should be perceived as an empowering tool using social constructivist approach among higher education students. Well, it is an empowering tool, and this is the contribution to the existing theory. I also would like to add on from this research study, the transition from pedagogy to andragogy to heterogogy implies constructivism. As teachers or the future teachers, we need to keep this in mind. Let us not just be the sage on the stage, we need to be the guide on the side. It is high time for us. To conclude, the SNS contributes to both formal and informal learning for the higher education students. Though it contributes, I would say it cannot replace classroom learning. Well, it's not only the strategy to empower students to have self-directed learning, but for sure, it is one of the strategy to develop self-directed learning. Well, it also has identified that this particular setup empowered higher education learning to an extent. And this result of this particular study cannot be generalized because it's a case study done with a few in a particular research setting. So however, you can redo this research in different setup. And I have come up with certain recommendation, awareness of the faculty to empower the students, and the timely feedback to be given by the teachers as well as for the fellow classmates, and non-participants like invited scholars, former students, is very much possible in social media, which is not possible in other technological tools. And it can attract more participants. The reason being it's social media. Well, to boost confidence of the higher education students, this is one of the important tool which can help them learn. Further research can be done in different research settings, and it can add value to this topic. And it says the research in discovery learning demonstrates the need to empower learner. One way is to give them appropriate learning tools. Teachers should teach their students how to discover truth for themselves. And I believe Bible says in Proverbs chapter 15 verse 22, plans fail for the lack of counsel, but with many advices they succeed. And you could see the references used for the study. And thank you so much. And if you would like to know more about this particular topic, you may contact me. My details are over there in the screen. Feel free to contact me, and may God bless you as you continue to serve in this beautiful institution, Spicer Adventist University, and God bless.